ladies and gentlemen, it's ASMR Cubed here, and today we'll be delving back into the history of Resident Evil for a revised version of a video that I put out a long time ago. Someone requested it, so I will give it to them. It's being updated for the new games that have come out since the release of that video. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed listening. The history of Resident Evil. In the 1800s, Travis Maritime Trading Company begins exploring materials in Africa. Early 1900s, the Travis Company starts collecting African flora and fauna samples and launches its drug manufacturing venture. Later in the 1960s, engineer Michael Warren begins the electrification of Raccoon City. That same year, Travis Company is renamed Tricell. Edward Ashford, the fifth head of the Ashford family, commences the search for the Progenitor Virus. In 1962, Lord Oswald E. Spencer commissions architect George Trevor to design the construction of what would later become the Arkley Mountain Mansion or the Arkley Mountain Facility. December 1966, Spencer, Edward, and James Marcus are the head researchers and at Brandon Bailey discover the Progenitor Virus with the ability to recombine the genes of other organisms on the stairway to the sunflower unearthed in African ruins. The Progenitor Virus flower containing the virus is brought back to America for cultivation by Dr. Marcus and Bailey. 1967, Brendan fails to cultivate the progenitor flower successfully in America. Spencer, in an effort to move along their plans, furthers his plan to establish a company. November 1967, the mansion and research labs are completed in the Arkley Mountains on the outskirts of Raccoon City. 1968, manufacturing of Raccoon City streetcars began in Europe. The streetcar network reopens. And that same year, the drug company Umbrella is founded as a facade to continue their biological research. 1968, Edward is infected by the Progenitor Virus and dies. His son Alexander succeeds him as the sixth head of the Ashford family. August 1968. Umbrella seizes control of part of the ruins where the Progenitor flower flourishes from the indigenous tribe. The African lab is established. That same year, the Umbrella training facility is established in the Arkley Mountains on the outskirts of Raccoon City. Dr. Marcus is appointed the first director. February 1969. Alexander begins planning construction for the Antarctic base. The laboratory project is classified, and the project that will be taking place at that laboratory is named the Code Veronica virus. In 1969, June, Umbrella's African laboratory is completed with Bailey appointed as director. November 1969, Umbrella's Antarctic base and laboratory are completed. 1971, the Code Veronica project is successful. The Ashford twins, Alfred and Alexia, are born. 1977, Albert Wesker and William Birkin are assigned to the training facility as prospective managers. December 1977, 5 cases containing the Progenitor Virus are shipped to Dr. Marcus from the African laboratory. June 1978, Dr. Marcus succeeds in developing the T-virus. There's no teleporting in Resident Evil. The training facility is closed closed. Later that year, in July of 1978, William Birkin and the T-virus, along with Albert Resker, are moved to the Arklay laboratory. Dr. Marcus continues his research independently. 1980, the African laboratory succeeds in cultivating the Progenitor Virus. Under strict supervision, the African laboratory becomes the sole supplier of the virus. July 1981, Alexia graduates top of her class from a renowned university at only 10 years old. She's appointed senior researcher at the Umbrella Arctic Laboratory. March 1982, Alexia administers the T. Veronica virus to her father, Alexander, resulting in a failure. Alexander is officially reported missing. December 1983, Wesker researches secondary T-virus infection. However, he begins to have doubts about Spencer's plans and projects. That same year, and the same month in December, Alexia self-administers the T. Veronica virus and enters a 15-year cryogenic sleep. Officially, she is declared to have died from accidental infection following an accident in the lab. In 1987, Michael Warren is elected mayor of Raccoon City. 1988, the T-virus project continues under the leadership of Dr. William Birkin. They begin work on the Tyrant, the ultimate BOW, or bioorganic weapon. The project, strictly named Nemesis, commences at the laboratory in six European countries. In 1988, the T-virus project continues under the leadership of Dr. William Birkin. The Tyrant... Oh wait, I already read this. I'm sorry, I had to take a quick break. I had a coughing fit and I didn't want to just blow your ears out. Wesker assassinates Marcus under the orders of Oswald E. Spencer just months later. 1991, Umbrella begins construction of a giant underground laboratory beneath Raccoon City. Spencer approves Birkin's G-virus research. The project begins. Wesker is reassigned to the Department of Intelligence that same year. February 1991, South American drug lord Javier I can't say his last name, obtains the T-virus from Umbrella. He administers the T-virus to his wife. Unfortunately, it doesn't cure her disease that she caught from the local environment. Unfortunately, she dies from the mutation. December 1991, the Soviet Union falls. Sergei Vladimir is contacted by Umbrella as a perfect match for the T-virus. 10 clones of himself are submitted to Umbrella for testing. Just a month after his donation of 10 clones, he was made a manager for Umbrella Corporation. 1993, Raccoon City Police Chief Brian Irons begins colluding with Umbrella. Birkin is reassigned to the Raccoon City Underground Laboratory. December 1993, Alfred Ashford graduates from UK University and is appointed director of the Antarctic base as an Umbrella manager. He is also appointed command of Rockford Island. Rockford Island, the anti-BOW force training facility, is completed. 1994, John is reassigned from the Chicago laboratory to the Arklay Mountain Laboratory as Birkin's successor. Alfred constructs his private residence and prison on Rockford Island. 1996. The Special Tactics and Rescue Squad, also known as STARS, is founded under the jurisdiction of the Raccoon City Police Department, and Wesker is appointed as the captain. Hunk, a future Umbrella special operative, undergoes training at the Rockford Island Training Facility. May 1996. Basically, it was the beginning of all of this. Waste accumulates at Umbrella's exclusive waste treatment plants due to large increases of amounts to be processed. Untreated contaminants leak. May 1998. A mimicry of Dr. Marcus appears at the Umbrella training facility in the Arklay Mountains. Also, in the same month, the Supers, or the mutated dogs, claim their first victim. The dismembered body of a 20-year-old woman is discovered in the woods. And a catastrophic viral leak at the Arklay Mountain lab is decimated. A number of disappearances and victims turn up in the Arklay Mountains on the outskirts of Raccoon City. The city intervenes by dispatching STARS to investigate. Umbrella also dispatches two successful reconnaissance teams to the training facility as part of the project to reclaim the facility. The first team is wiped out by the BOWs inside. The STARS Bravo helicopter is forced to make an emergency landing due to an unknown failure in the engine. They begin to investigate a train they found nearby called the Elliptic Express. And it is the train is used for transporting employees to the training facility, but unfortunately it is eventually obliterated. The STARS Alpha team is dispatched to search for Bravo team, but they are ultimately unable to reach the mansion. Bravo team's Enrico Marini discovers the truth behind Wesker, and Wesker guns down Marini. Vladimir activates the Red Queen to retrieve the data from the laboratories and transfer it all to the UMF-013 supercomputer in the Raccoon City underground lab. The Red Queen revokes Wesker's access and permission for the server. Overrun by the virus in the Arklay Mountain laboratories, both mansions are destroyed and Wesker escapes shortly before the explosion. 4 STARS team members escape as well, Alpha team along with one of Bravo team. The surviving members are Chris, Jill, Barry, and Rebecca Chambers. Nothing remains of the laboratory. 1998. Having obtained information on the G-Virus, former STARS member Chris Redfield leaves for Europe. He openly declares his opposition to Umbrella. September 1998. Birkin completes the G-Virus research. Carried by rats, the virus leaks into the laboratory, causing a biohazard outbreak through the entire whole of Raccoon City. A number of cases of cannibalism are reported in urban areas. The events are covered up by the media. The Raccoon City Police Department is eventually overwhelmed and the police descend into madness. The mayor flees the city, abandoning his daughter. The UBCS, or the Umbrella Biohazard Countermeasure Service, lands in Raccoon City to help evacuate civilians. Jill Valentine, who has been investigating independently. Yeah, I say that 2 times fast. In Raccoon City, prepares to flee the city. Rookie police officer Leon S. Kennedy arrives in Raccoon City, and he also meets Claire Redfield, the sister of Chris. Umbrella deploys its new BOW, the Nemesis T-Type. It begins to hunt for the former STARS members. Umbrella also drops its mass-produced Tyrant on Raccoon City. folks. I had to pause again. I think I'm just getting sick or something. I don't know. Maybe it's another coughing fit. Okay. Where were we? Oh. Leon and Chris escape from Raccoon City, rescuing Bergen's daughter, Sherry. In the process, the U.S. Army intervenes, declaring martial law. The UBCS survivors are taken advantage of by Umbrella. Overseer Nikolai Chinov and perish quickly in succession. Both Ada Wong and the Umbrella Special Operative Hunk are able to retrieve G-Virus samples, and the Raccoon City Underground Laboratory is destroyed. October 1998. Vladimir transports the Umbrella supercomputer UFM-013 out of Raccoon City. Jill defeats Nemesis, and she escapes from Raccoon City with one of the UBCS star members, Carlos Oliveira. The U.S. government approves the extermination under direct orders of the president. Raccoon City is annihilated by a missile attack. Leon and Sherry are placed into government protection by the U.S. Intelligence Agency. Head hunts Leon for a position as a government agent. The U.S. government suspends Umbrella's business activity. Outraged by this decision, the Umbrella Company Corporation sues the government. November 1998. Spencer orders the closure of the African laboratory. December 1998. Claire is captured as she attempts to infiltrate Umbrella's Paris laboratory and is imprisoned on Rockford Island. A mysterious special forces unit led by Albert Wesker attacks Rockford Island, and the T-virus is spread across the entire island. Claire sends an email for help to Leon after escaping out of the prison. Chris is informed of Claire's location. Jill reaches Chris's hideout after escaping from Raccoon City, only to find that he's already left for Rockford Island. Chris renounces Wesker after re-encounters Albert Wesker after reaching Rockford Island. Alfred flees the island. Alexia awakens from her cryogenic sleep at the Antarctic laboratory, and Alfred dies. Claire reunites Chris at the Arctic base, and together they defeat Alexia. After the battle, Chris and Claire flee the Arctic base, and then the base is destroyed. 2001. Hidako, I think that's his name, contacts Wesker. That would be the drug lord who gave the virus to his wife. He administers the Veronica virus to his daughter in an attempt to treat her for the same disease before she dies like her mother did. The virus did sustain her for a while, but it wasn't stable in her body. I'm just going to add that in there because I had the time to watch the movie. In 2002, a number of young girls are reported missing in South America. Under special orders, the U.S. government sends Special Agent Leon Kennedy and a Spec Ops member, Jack Krauser. They are dispatched to South America with orders to secure Hidako. Leon and Krauser defeat Hidako, who has since fused with the Veronica plant and escaped from Hidako's complex by helicopter. His daughter is placed under U.S. government protection. Krauser is discharged from the United States Army after a wound to his left arm fails to heal. He eventually contacts Wesker and joins the organization. February 2003, having received information of a new BOW, the Russian government commences an assault on Umbrella's Caucasus laboratory in Russia. Chris and Jill join a private biohazard force and defeat Talos, a new BOW. Having located the whereabouts of UFM-013, Wesker infiltrates the Russian branch and defeats Vladimir, who is transformed into a creature. Wesker acquires the remaining research data and stored on UFM-13 and wipes the Red Queen. 2003. Confidential data on Umbrella is submitted to the court, resulting in a guilty verdict. Umbrella files bankruptcy. Wesker contacts Excella Gione, a manager for the pharmaceutical giant Tricell. With Umbrella's data provided by Wesker, Excella is able to further Tricell's BOW research and rises in her position within the company. In 2004, the BSAA is established by the Global Pharmaceutical Consortium, an organization that employs a number of Tricell's board of directors. Ada intercepts an email sent by the Los Illuminados researcher Luis Serra, who is asking for help. She obtains information on the Las Plagas. That is a new version of the virus, mixed with a parasite, I do believe. Luis flees the cult, taking a sample of the plaga with him. Wesker orders Krauser to infiltrate the cult in order to retrieve the plaga. September 2004. Jack Krauser abducts Ashley Graham, the daughter of the President of the United States. U.S. agent Leon Kennedy is dispatched to rescue Ashley. Under the orders of Albert Wesker, Ada is also sent in separately to retrieve and control the plaga. Louise is murdered by the cult leader Osman Sadler. Having merged with the mother plaga and turning into a creature, Ramon Salazar is defeated by Leon. Krauser is defeated by Ada. Leon defeats a transformed Sadler. Ada steals the control plaga sample from Leon and escapes the island. Leon escapes the island with Ashley on a jet ski, and the complex is destroyed. In 2004, a terrorist group known as Veltro, who opposed the construction of the artificial island of Terra Gracia, caused a biohazard outbreak by releasing the T-Abyss virus within the city, another version of the T-virus. In order to end a desperate situation, the FBC Commissioner Morgan Lansdale plans to execute the destruction of Terra Gracia by using the Regina Solis, a solar accumulator. 2005. Chris and Jessica are dispatched to the mountainous regions of northern Europe to investigate a suspected Veltro hideout. Having received information regarding Chris's disappearance, Jill and Parker Lucanian are dispatched on a mission aboard a luxury cruise ship called the Queen Zenobia. All communication is lost once they are on board with the ship, and it's only later that they're revealed that the information that Chris had was a decoy. Chris and Jessica are ordered by the BSAA to retrieve Clive R. O'Brien and to return and begin searching for Jill and Parker. Keith Lumley and Quentin Ketchum are dispatched to Northern Europe to replace Chris and Jessica. Quentin determines the location of the Queen Zenobia using a security token. Based on Quentin's info, Chris and Jessica hurry to the Queen Zenobia only to discover that they have boarded her sister ship, the Queen Samarius. Communication is re-established with Jill and Parker, and the correct location of the Queen Zenobia is established. The Queen Zenobia, Chris and Jessica on board. The Queen Zenobia, Jill, Parker, and Chris and Jessica regroup. Keith and Quentin learn of a third cruise ship, the Queen Ditto, while searching for information. Although Jack and Chris discover the research facility deep in the bowels of the ship, the Queen Zenobia is scuttled by a self-destruct system. Having escaped the Queen Zenobia, Jill and Chris board the Queen Ditto and unexpectedly encounter Veltro leader Jack Norman on board. Together they defeat the mutated Norman. Evidence is discovered implicating the FBC Commissioner Morgan's involvement with the Terra Gracia panic. Morgan is arrested based on the evidence, and the BSA seizes the opportunity and is reformed as an anti-bioterrorism unit under the jurisdiction of the UN. 2005, NGO TerraSave demands the release of the results of the pharmaceutical giant Will Pharma's clinical experiments in India. November 2005, Senator Ron Davis colludes with the pharmaceutical giant Will Pharma to help construct a research facility in Hartvale. A number of protests erupt after the decision. TerraSave member Claire lands in the Hartvale airport. Former TerraSave member Curtis Miller unleashes a bioterrorism attack on Hartvale airport as planned by Will Pharma's chief engineer Frederick Downing. The White House dispatches Leon Kennedy, who arrives in Hartvale airport. He assists SRT, a special unit of the local police force, members Angela Miller and Greg Glenn, in searching for survivors. Leon and Claire reunite in the airport. Glenn is infected by the virus and dies. The USAMRIID, or the United States Army Medical Research Institution of Infection and Disease, identifies the virus used in the attack. The government attempts to administer the Will Pharma manufactured T vaccine, but the cargo truck containing the vaccine is destroyed by another terrorist incident. Claire discovers that the G virus is stored in Will Pharma's Air Dome facility and informs Leon. Curtis infiltrates the Air Dome and obtains the G virus. Downing destroys the Air Dome, seriously wounding Curtis and injecting himself with the G virus. The Air Dome's automated sterilization program is activated. The facility is also destroyed. Through the combined efforts of Leon, Angela, and Claire, they are able to fend off Curtis, who is transformed into the G life form, and escape the Air Dome. They arrest Downing and his attempted colludes to salve the G virus. Okay, it's been a long one. I'm probably gonna have to cut this up into 2 or 3 videos. Tricell acquires Will Pharma. Senator Davis dies under mysterious circumstances. A Tricell unit retrieves the corpse of Curtis. August 2006, Chris and Jill break into Spencer's residence to detain Oswald E. Spencer. But unfortunately, Oswald E. Spencer is murdered by Albert Wesker at his own residence. Chris and Jill face off with Albert Wesker at the climax of the battle. Jill falls off a cliff with Albert Wesker to save Chris's life. Wesker returns to his headquarters having captured Jill. He cryogenically freezes her in preparation for the Ouroboros virus experiment. The following facts are revealed by the notes discovered in the Spencer residence. In his search for immortality, Spencer ordered Alex to develop a new version of the virus. He shipped hundreds of test subjects to a research facility constructed on a remote tropical island. Alex requested further test subjects from Spencer over a phone call. Spencer was informed by Alex of the success of the virus experiments. Alex disappears along with the entirety of the virus research. Under orders of Oswald E. Spencer, the family butler Patrick carried out human experiments in the Spencer residence. Spencer ordered Patrick to disclose his location to Wesker indirectly. The location of Spencer's mansion was leaked to the information broker, Ricardo Irving. Spencer eventually released Patrick from his service. Spencer's location was revealed to Wesker by Irving. November 2006, the BSA discontinues its search for Jill, and she is presumed dead. 2007, 2009, the Ouroboros project begins, and all Tricell researchers who worked on the Ouroboros virus are eliminated. Working for Tricell's Resource Development Division, Ricardo Irving releases the Plaga 2 in the Kijuju Autonomous Region. The local inhabitants are transported into Magi. 2009. The West African branch of the BSA has dispatched its Alpha Team Captain Dan DeChant to the Kijuju Autonomous Region to arrest Irving. Having received information related to Jill's survival, Chris joins the BSAA in West Africa to work as backup. Chris teams up with the local BSA agent Sheva Alamar in the Kijuju Autonomous Region. They are mobilized as part of Bravo Team. Alpha Team is assaulted by an Ouroboros virus experiment and are wiped out. BSAA agent Raynard Fisher, who has been working undercover in the Kijuju Autonomous Region, is executed by the locals who have all turned into Magi. Led by Josh Stone, Delta Team regroups with Chris and Cheval Alamar. Delta Team is attacked by Nitsu, resulting in the deaths of the entire team, save for Stone. Chris and Sheva defeat the transformed Irving, and then Chris and Sheva discover the progenitor flower thriving underground in the ancient ruins, along with traces of Umbrella's activity. Chris and Sheva encounter Wesker along with Jill, who is under the control. After the battle, Jill is able to be restored to her former self. Chris and Sheva face off with Excella, who is transformed into an Ouroboros creature. They are defeated using a satellite laser. Or if you've beaten the game a bunch of times like a rocket launcher. Jill escapes from the Tricell facility with Josh. Using a helicopter, they make their way to Chris and Sheva in order to rescue them. Attempting to spread the Ouroboros virus worldwide, Wesker escapes on a bomber but is forced into an emergency landing. The emergency landing ended up in a volcano, by the way. Super convenient placement of that volcano. Chris and Sheva defeat Wesker and intercept the Ouroboros missile before launch. Chris, Sheva, and Jill escape on a helicopter piloted by Stone. In 2010, mineral deposits are discovered below the autonomous region held by the independent fighters during a ceasefire of Eastern Slav Republic civil war. The government resumes military action under the pretext of counter-bioterrorism. The independent movement radicalizes. According to the rumors, monsters have been sighted in Eastern Slav battlefields. 2011. TerraSave headquarters is suddenly attacked. Claire Redfield and Moira Burton are abducted by an unknown party. BSAA advisors advise Barry lands on a remote island in search of his daughter. February 2011. The American government pulls out of the Eastern Slav Republic. All American citizens, including the staff at the embassy, are ordered to leave. Having received reports regarding the use of POWs or bioorganic weapons on the battlefield, Special Agent Leon Kennedy is dispatched to the Eastern Slav Republic, but he is immediately ordered to withdraw. Leon ignores the order and remains on the location. Leon is captured by rebel guerrilla forces. Alexander and JD managed to escape during the confusion caused by the government's army assault. Ada visits the Eastern Slav Republic, posing as a BSAA specialist investigator, and meets with the president of Svetlana Belenkova. Okay, well, I'm not going to try to say that name twice. Fleeing from government troops, Alexander is forced to kill his own atom, or leader, Ivan Chikonovich, who is close to death and cannot go on. He vows to fulfill his dying wish. Leon is recaptured at the rebel base at the church. JD frees Leon and implores him to prevent Alexander from continuing Ivan's plan. While pursuing Alexander, Leon encounters Ada, who informs him of the government's plan to bomb the area. The church is used by the rebels. Is attacked by a horde of BOWs or bioorganic weapons and falls. JD, who has been infected, hands over his equipment to Leon before dying. Belankova sees through Ada's charade and has her imprisoned. Ada escapes. Leon infiltrates the underground area where Ada is being held, and together they discover the president's plug-up breeding facility. Alexander, who has allowed himself to be parasited by a dominant type plaga, attacks Belankova, controlling a pack of lickers. If you'd like to know what lickers are, they're nasty little buggers. I might do another video and go into the description of what the monsters are, but is unable to reach her. Having waited for the right opportunity to invade the Americans, and the Russian armies take advantage of the confusion to commence their own attack on the Eastern Slav Republic. Having waited for the right opportunity, the Americans and the Russian army take advantage of the confusion and use it to their own commerce to attack the Eastern Slav Republic. The Eastern Slav government surrenders, and the Americans and Russians install an interim government. Belikov resigns. The corporation that had supported the previous government is liquidated. December 2012. BSAA Alpha Team Captain Chris engages Guavo, belonging to an anti-government force in the Republic of Indonesia. Special Agent Sherry Birkin, that would be the little girl from Resident Evil 2, that's Dr. William Birkin's daughter, finds C-virus antibodies in a man named Jake Mueller. Together they are forced to flee from the BOWs. Sherry and Jake meet Claire's brother Chris in the Republic of Edonia. Chris loses his entire team, save for Pierce Nevins. Lord, I cannot get names right today. In a trap set by a terrorist organization presiding under the name of Neo Umbrella. In the ensuing chaos, Chris is wounded and loses his memory. Neo Umbrella captures and imprisons Jake and Sherry Birkin in their laboratory, where they are experimented on for 6 months. 2013. Having lost his memory, Chris lives his life a drunk recluse in an Eastern European town. Pierce and his comrades desperately search for their former captain. In 2013, intrigued by a call from the U.S. President, Derek C. Simmons and Ada begins research of a submarine. Leon and an agent under the direct authorization of Beneford, the President of the United States at the time, accompanies the President to Tall Oaks, where he plans to reveal the truth behind the events that led to the destruction of Raccoon City. But the city is hit by a bioterrorism attack shortly before the President's speech, and Beneford and a large number of citizens are infected by the virus and killed. Suspecting of having murdered the President, Elena Harper and Leon head to China to search for evidence that would prove their innocence. Still suffering from amnesia, Chris, persuaded by Pierce, returns to the BSAA ranks, where his memory returns while fighting. Although he is able to defeat the BOWs, he once again loses his entire team, except for Pierce. Ada searches the underground laboratories previously found by Leon and Helena after viewing a recording of her doppelganger, Carla Virus emerges from a chrysalis, and she heads to China in search for more clues that will help her link these series of events. Jake and Sherry are able to escape from the Neo Umbrella facility where they are being held. During his long imprisonment, Jake learned that he is the son of Albert Wesker, who once tried to destroy the world. Jake and Sherry are relentlessly pursued but eventually saved by Chris and Pierce. Leon and Elena travel to China, but their plane gets brought down by an attack of BOWs aboard. Miraculously, they survive the crash. Jake and Sherry are at the crash site. Leon informs Sherry of the tragedy of the treachery of Superior Simmons, because Simmons was her boss at that time. Leon and Sherry come face to face with Simmons, but during the confusion, he's injected with an enhanced version of the C virus and begins to mutate. They battle Simmons on top of a train and defeat him. Jake and Sherry are captured again by Guavo and taken to Neo Umbrella's underwater base. Having learned of Ada's plan to carry out a bio-attack on a global scale, Chris and Pierce begin taking measures to stop her. Although they manage to corner Ada, in reality, Carla Ramnus, she is shot by an assassin sent by Simmons. However, she managed to infect herself with the enhanced version of the C virus and mutates into a horrific creature. Ada faces off against her doppelganger. Carla, after learning the truth of Simmons' voice recording, the mutated Carla takes over the entire carrier, but but after a bitter struggle, she is ultimately defeated by Chris, Ada, and Pierce, and the carrier is destroyed in the fight. While Ada makes her exit in a helicopter, a missile is launched from the carrier and detonates over Taichi, releasing a vast quantity of gas infected with the enhanced C virus. A large-scale biohazard rapidly spreads throughout China, and Leon witnesses the ensuing chaos in the city and is informed of Ada's death. Leon and Helena meet up with Ada again, and they fight their way through the zombie hordes towards the quad tower. They are ambushed by Simmons, but they manage to fend him off. Ada enters Carla's laboratory and obliterates all traces of her activity. She disappears once again into the shadows. Leanna and Helena are forced to fight Simmons once more while climbing the quad tower. Simmons mutes one last time, but the pair are able to destroy him at last. They escape the burning Alright, so we're 3/4 of the way through this. I've been reading for almost an hour. Okay, let's see. Where were we? Oh, yes. Leon and Helena are forced to fight Simmons. Let's see, but Chris and Pierce find Sherry and Jake inside the underwater base. They witness the birth of a BOW, Haos, and stay behind to fight it, bearing the creature. Haos, and stay behind to fight the creature for a time. Sherry and Jake stay behind, giving them enough time for Sherry and Jake to escape. Jake comes to face with the use tank, in the magma control room. Although the creature falls into lava, it somehow survives. Jake and Sherry use a magnum to defeat it once and for all. Chris and Pierce battle the BOW Haos in a last-ditch effort to save Chris from the creature's grip. Pierce deliberately injects himself with the C virus and begins to mutate. Chris and Pierce battle the BOW Haos, and they're able to fend him off. Sensing he is on the verge of losing control of his mutations, Pierce pushes Chris into an escape pod and launches it to the surface before he has a chance to react. He engages and defeats Chaos one last time before the lab begins to detonate and then surrenders to his fate. And that's all for right now. They don't have the story for Resident Evil 7 in here. That's kind of unfortunate. Let's see, I'm wondering what's going on with, okay, so they're saying that it will be coming out soon when they have all the pieces and correct information together. I may do a separate video on that because I have the game, and if I have to, I will play through it to get the story. But thank you very much for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time.